Good day, it is Stephen Davids, and in this video we will continue our series on the horizontal scrolling text in Blender, and in particular we will focus on how to add a path and link the camera. Let us just set up the screen the way we last ended, and go to the info, and then to the submenu, the default. And if you do not know how to do it, just watch the previous videos in our series, then view it from the top and add the text that you want to add. Edit, Control, Backspace to delete, tab again to get out of edit mode. And after formatting the text, this is where we last ended. Today we will add the properties window because we will use it a lot. We go to view and then properties window. At this moment the X and the Y units in terms of the dimensions are simply units without any indication how to interpret these units. It is much better and easier if we can have an understandable measurement attached to these units, for example inches or kilometers or meters, centimeters, and therefore let us go and do that exactly. Go to the properties window, and in the properties window you will see the icon there with a cylinder and with the disk. Click on it, and when it is selected you go down here to the units section. You can have it inches, kilometers, meters, or whatever. In our case, let us make it centimeters, and then the length will of course then be metric and not imperial, but if you select here feet, it will of course be imperial. So then you will immediately see here this X units at this moment in time. The dimensions, it is 7.7 meters in length, and the height is 9.46 millimeters. If you are sure that this is the text that you want at the start of the scrolling text on your screen, then go to view, align view, and on align view select then align active camera to view, and then you will see exactly what elements will come on the screen in the beginning. Now the number of text and the height of the text, it depends on you, but there's a balance where the text can't be too big, because if the texts are too big, and then the person maybe just see one or two words and the rest of the screen is blanked out. If the texts are too small, a person can't see it. In our case, we want the text to be visual on mobile phones, and therefore we already decided it will be around 15 to 20 centimeters in height, which is more or less okay here. So we will have to bring this now down, because if it's in the middle it blanks out, but it depends on you. I prefer it more or less at the bottom of the screen. In this case, let us then rather move the camera, because later on sometimes the camera gets disorientated and it's easier to focus the camera again back onto the text if the text remains on the X and the Y 0 marks. Position the text at the bottom of the camera screen by selecting the camera, right click, and then grab the camera and then move the camera up, slightly up, until the text is close to the bottom, but that it makes provision for the bottom part of the text. The text is more or less now 13 to 15% of the screen height. Place the cursor below the camera view. Then add the curve path. Add a path. You will see the path size is 4 meters if we go to the dimensions of the path. If we select the text, you will see the dimensions of the text is 7 meters, copy that dimensions into the computer memory, highlight the path, and then copy the size of the text there. You add around 20 centimeter. The reason why you add 20 centimeter is that when the camera reaches the end of the text, it goes beyond that middle section, and so that the text is totally clear from the screen. Go then to the location of the X bar, and at this moment in time the X bar is located at the Y screen. The reason is because the cursor on the path is in the middle of the path, and we wanted to put therefore the end of and the start of the path and align it here with the Y bar. Therefore we need to move the cursor to the middle position of the text, more or less, and the text and the length of the path is around 7.2. You take then the half of this X dimension, the half of that is 3.6 meters, and there you see the front and the start of the path is aligned with the front of the text. What we now do is to connect then the camera with the path. Select and highlight the camera. Go then to here the link tab in the properties window. Click on it, and there you see the camera must be linked, and in this case we select relationship follow path, and then in the follow path box that appear, we then go to target, hit on target, click into it, and when we left click into the target, we see the NURBS path, and that's the only path that exists. Click on it, and we see here Animate Path, and the Animate Path is in order to create the animation. So you click on it, create the animation. If we click on it again, you will see a path is already animated. If you want to see how it will look, just animate Alt A, or you can press here on the control buttons. Put this cursor to the start of the project and then animate, and there you will see the animation. It is very quickly, and the reason for that is because the speed is just from 0 to 100. You only get the right speed and the correct number of frames through trial and error. So hit on the number. Let us take 5000. I already done it, so forgive me my and there you see the speed is relatively okay. Do not be worried if the texts are too jerky. It may be that your speed is not right, and therefore you'll have to reset your speed. The frames here, maybe make it increase it to 6000 or 7000, or think of, if it's extremely jerky, to reduce your number of characters, because it may be that your hardware capacity is not good enough to handle the amount of text. You do not need to worry about the frames, because when you set the scene and attach it to the actual video, the number of frames that the text cover is not exactly 5000 or the higher amount, but usually a lesser amount than you put in. You will have to play around until such time that you get a nice and reasonable speed as well as space for the text to appear. Thank you very much for watching this video. We love constructive comments and criticisms. Please like and share this video.